From a distance, it looks simple, a luxury bag behind glass, perfectly lit, with a price tag that suggests rarity and craftsmanship. But long before it reaches that boutique shelf, the material tells a very different story. A single snakeskin begins its journey in a tightly regulated farming environment, far from fashion capitals and storefront displays. These facilities are designed for controlled breeding, health monitoring, and traceability systems that exist to meet international trade laws and animal welfare standards. From there, the skin moves into industrial processing spaces that look nothing like luxury: stainless steel tables, temperature-controlled rooms, and skilled technicians focused on precision, not appearance. This is where raw material becomes usable leather. The skin is cleaned, preserved, and stabilized through careful tanning processes that prevent decay while maintaining flexibility and strength. Every step affects the final quality. Small mistakes mean the material cannot be used at all. What makes this journey striking is the contrast. On one end, functional floors built for efficiency and compliance. On the other, polished boutiques, selling exclusivity and status. Understanding what happens in between reveals why these products are rare, expensive, and often debated, and why that transformation is far more complex than at first appears. Snake leather occupies a small but highly valued corner of the global fashion industry. Unlike mass-produced materials, it is used selectively, often reserved for limited-run accessories such as handbags, belts, and wallets. What makes it valuable is not just appearance, but scarcity. Each skin has a naturally occurring scale pattern, meaning no two finished products are ever exactly the same. For luxury brands, that natural variation supports the idea of exclusivity their customers expect. Even as sustainability and supply chain transparency become major concerns for consumers, exotic leathers remain part of high-end fashion. Brands continue to use them because demand persists, especially for materials that signal craftsmanship and rarity. At the same time, many companies now face pressure to prove where their materials come from and how they are sourced. As a result, the industry has shifted away from informal supply chains toward tightly documented production systems. Modern snake farms operate very differently from how many people imagine. These facilities are purpose-built environments where breeding, feeding, and health are carefully monitored. The goal is consistency and traceability, not volume. Each animal is tracked from birth, creating records that follow the skin through every stage of processing. Factories that handle snake leather are also shaped by regulation. International agreements, such as wildlife trade controls, require detailed documentation before skins can be exported or sold. Inspections, permits, and audits are routine parts of the process. Together, these farms and factories form a controlled pipeline designed to meet legal, environmental, and commercial expectations. This system exists to balance three competing forces: consumer demand, conservation concerns, and global trade rules. Understanding that balance helps explain why snake leather remains both valuable and controversial in today's fashion landscape. The journey of snake leather begins in regulated farming facilities, designed for control and traceability. These farms manage breeding cycles, feeding schedules, and living conditions to support animal health and consistent growth. Veterinarians and trained staff monitor each animal, creating records that follow the skin throughout its life cycle. This level of oversight is required to meet international trade and animal welfare regulations. When the animals reach the appropriate size, harvesting is carefully scheduled. Laws and industry standards dictate approved methods intended to minimize unnecessary stress and ensure humane treatment. Timing is critical, because skin quality depends on the animal's age and condition. Proper handling at this stage directly affects how usable the leather will be later. Initial processing happens quickly after harvesting. The skin is removed, cleaned, and treated to prevent bacterial growth or drying. This early preservation step protects the delicate scale structure and prepares the material for long-term use. Any damage at this stage can permanently reduce quality. Next comes tanning, one of the most important phases in leather production. Through a combination of chemical and, in some cases, plant-based treatments, the skin is stabilized. Tanning prevents decay while improving flexibility, strength, and durability. The process must be carefully controlled to avoid stiffness or uneven texture. Once tanned, each skin is graded. Inspectors evaluate size, symmetry, scale pattern, and surface consistency. Only skins that meet strict standards move forward. The rest are set aside. Approved skins enter manufacturing, where artisans cut and assemble them into belts, bags, and accessories. Finally, products are polished, colored, and inspected one last time before being cleared for export, completing a process built on precision at every step. One of the most distinctive features of snake leather is something that cannot be manufactured or repeated. Each skin carries a natural scale pattern shaped by the animal's growth and environment. Unlike stamped or embossed materials, these patterns are organic, meaning every finished product has a one-of-a-kind appearance. For luxury buyers, that visual uniqueness is a key part of the material's appeal. Working with snake leather, however, is far more demanding than working with traditional hides. Cowhide is thick, durable, and forgiving during cutting and stitching. Snake skin is the opposite. It is thinner, more delicate, and highly sensitive to tension. Craftspeople must cut with extreme accuracy, because even small errors can weaken the leather or make it unusable. This level of precision increases both labor time and skill requirements. Another factor shaping the value of snake leather is regulation. International trade agreements, including the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species, commonly known as CITES, require each skin to be documented from its point of origin to its final sale. These records are checked by customs officials and auditors, adding layers of oversight that do not exist for standard materials. The process slows production, but ensures legal compliance. And TRACEABILITY. Not every skin that enters a factory ends up as a finished product. During grading, inspectors examine size, symmetry, color consistency, and surface damage. Many skins fail to meet luxury standards and are rejected or redirected to lower value uses. This high rejection rate reduces overall supply. When these factors combine natural uniqueness, skilled labor, strict regulation, and limited usable output, the result is a material that commands premium prices. The cost reflects not just fashion branding, but the complexity behind every usable piece of snake leather. Quality control plays a central role in modern snake leather production, especially in facilities that supply international markets. Factories operate under structured inspection systems where each stage of processing is reviewed and documented. Skins are checked multiple times for defects, consistency, and compliance with export standards. By identifying problems early, manufacturers reduce material waste and avoid producing items that cannot be legally sold or shipped. Sustainability has also become a growing focus within the industry. While leather processing traditionally uses large amounts of water and chemicals, many modern facilities now invest in treatment systems that allow water to be filtered and reused. Chemical inputs are carefully measured, and waste materials are handled according to environmental regulations. In some cases, byproducts from processing are repurposed or safely disposed of to limit environmental impact. These steps do not eliminate environmental concerns, but they reflect efforts to improve efficiency and accountability. Beyond factories, snake farming has an economic role in rural regions where employment options may be limited. Regulated farms provide steady, documented jobs in animal care, facility maintenance, and administrative oversight. For some communities, this industry supports local economies while operating within national and international legal frameworks. At the same time, snake leather remains part of an ongoing global debate. Conservation groups emphasize wildlife protection and reduced consumption of animal-based luxury goods. On the other side, producers and brands argue that regulated farming and trade can reduce illegal harvesting and support controlled populations. Consumer demand continues to influence both perspectives. These competing priorities shape how the industry operates today. Quality control, sustainability measures, economic interests, and conservation concerns are all interconnected. Understanding this balance helps explain why snake leather remains both tightly regulated and closely scrutinized in the modern luxury market. Modern snake leather production is not an informal or unregulated trade. It is a tightly controlled chain shaped by laws, inspections, and documentation that follow each skin from its origin to the final product. Farming, processing, and manufacturing are all connected through systems designed to ensure traceability, quality, and legal compliance. The structure exists to meet international standards and to reduce the risks associated with unregulated wildlife trade. Understanding this process adds important context to the price and controversy surrounding luxury accessories made from snake leather. The cost reflects more than branding or design. It includes specialized labor, high rejection rates, regulatory oversight, and the infrastructure required to maintain consistent quality. At the same time, public concern about animal welfare and environmental impact continues to influence how these products are perceived. For many consumers, awareness of the supply chain now plays a role alongside aesthetics and status. The industry itself is not static. Technology is already changing how farms monitor animal health, how factories manage waste, and how brands track materials through digital records. New tanning methods aim to reduce environmental impact, while alternative materials challenge traditional luxury practices. Regulations are also evolving as governments respond to conservation data and consumer expectations. As these changes continue, the future of exotic leather may look very different from the past. Some brands may reduce their use, others may invest further in transparency and innovation. What remains clear is that snake leather sits at the intersection of craftsmanship, regulation, and global debate. By looking beyond the finished product, we gain a fuller understanding of the systems behind it and a clearer view of how luxury, responsibility, and regulation are increasingly linked in the modern world.